Hi, I'm Shawna Percy-MacDonald from GoodGriefGuru.com in Canada. It's my turn to talk about mental illness. My diagnoses are post-traumatic stress disorder and situational depression. I was first affected by PTSD a few years after my husband's attempted suicide. For me, that looked like having flashbacks to the images I had created in my mind when the police told me of his attempted suicide. These flashbacks would bombard me anytime I would smell cigarette smoke specifically on him or on anything belonging to him. Almost 4 years later, when my husband died by suicide, I developed a new trigger. The reason I knew something was not right with my husband the day he died was because he went quiet. Now, whenever I am unable to reach someone, or if I get into an argument with someone and they go silent, or if a friend needs solitude and without communicating their reasons drops out of touch for a time, I panic. Holding my breath, I default to the immediate conclusion that the police will soon contact me to tell me that they too have died. Thankfully, I have begun to recognize the patterns of my reactions to silence. The more it happens and all of my family and friends are still alive, the more I build evidence and reassurance that just because a person cannot or is not communicating for a time does not always mean the worst has in fact happened. I focus my thoughts and energies on what I can control and practice ignoring the rest. This helps me feel productive and encourages me that when I feel out of control, there are still many facets of life I can become involved in, affect, and even change. Situational depression is another diagnosis I have learned to cope with. Because this form of depression is dependent on the perfect storm of circumstances, I do not live with it all the time. It shows itself rather when an extremely stressful life event has happened, or if I find myself in an ongoing situation that depletes my capacity. My frame of mind can become serious, even suicidal. However, if I can change the situation, my depression subsides. I have had to become aware of my responses to negative personalities or settings. If either do not foster a healthy mindset, I have become intentional about putting distance between us. For me, that has provided the most useful means for restoring my quality of life. I do not feel guilty about doing this. Quite the contrary, I feel realistic. And by adding space where necessary, I am equipped to be life-giving to others. These coping mechanisms, combined with counseling, healthy lifestyle choices, a focus on positive inspiration, and healing support outlets, gives me tremendous strength. I hope my story and the candid courage of others will be restorative for you. I'm Shawna Percy-MacDonald from GoodGriefGuru.com in Canada, and we'll make it through together.